Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all the news from Star Citizen from the week just past. I am your host Mac, so let's get on with it. This week we hear about new missions coming to Alpha 3.9, we have a Q&A regarding all things 3.9, plus we take a first look at Wally's Bar found at New Babbage. So before we begin, I would just like to say a big thank you to Schweinpreister, I hope that's how you pronounce that, for becoming my latest patron and supporting the channel. Thank you so much for the support, my friend. It is all very much appreciated. If you do enjoy my videos and would like to help support my channel further from as little as $1 a month, be sure to follow the link to my Patreon page in the description below. So this week's Inside Star Citizen kicked off looking at the new missions which are coming to Alpha 3.9. Now there are 3 new missions. One is a double bounty assassination. There is a prison transport mission as well, and one where you have to take down an AI Idris. So the assassination mission, basically they want us to create our own stories with our friends, so they're making more truly multiplayer missions. They're looking to introduce more of this kind of content, which is good stuff, but this is a synced assassination mission which requires 2 targets to be killed within a very short space of time. Now this requires perfect communication between the 2 players, because as soon as you start shooting either of the targets, a timer kicks in which will require you to take them both out before they warp away. Now personally, I'm not a big fan of timed missions. I don't like being rushed in certain things, so I'm not sure how much I would enjoy this, but I'm sure it will tick some boxes for many people. The next mission is a prisoner transporter mission in which you need to assault a prison transport ship, taking out its escorts. This is going to be on a Drake Caterpillar, which you will then have to get on board and take out the NPC guards, then download this prisoner manifest which you need to find, and this will contain all the prisoner IDs, which you'll need to match up to the targets on the cryopods, releasing 3 of them, I think killing 1 of them, and then once you're done, you've got to get out of there. Now this is more my thing. Assaulting and boarding a ship in space will be great fun with friends, then locating the correct targets to revive will be a lot of fun as well. Rather than just telling you exactly which pods you need to go to, you'll have to find them. So that I do like. The third mission is where you've got to take out an Idris. Now this is the Arlington Gang missions, which are a series of missions, and they start small with taking out smaller targets, and then eventually it'll build up to an AI Idris jumping in for players to kill. They can do this because it is just the exterior with AI turrets, but it will take kind of a full fleet of players to do this. They have done tests where they've had 9 to 10 retaliators all firing their torpedoes, which, you know, the Idris could withstand. So you need many people to help. You can only complete this mission once, but you can obviously help other people complete it when they're going through the mission as well. So what is going to be incredible about this mission personally is keeping an eye on chat, and as soon as an Idris jumps in, seeing if someone then posts, can you come and help at this location, or maybe offering a combat support. I can just imagine jumping to the location and seeing this massive Idris ship getting attacked by loads of players, and then lending a hand. Now it might be a bit of a mess, but I am looking forwards to it nonetheless. So for the latter part of Inside Star Citizen, we had a sprint report, which is great as it covers a lot of subjects quickly. The PU feature team completed a sprint in which multiple cargo manifests can be used in the spawning of NPC ships. They say this is important for adding variety for when attacking AI ships to gain their cargo. This means if you destroy the ship, the cargo can be collected. So basically we can scan an NPC ship and see what the cargo is on board of that ship, and then if we decide it's worth stealing, you can destroy the ship, steal the cargo because it becomes physicalized. It does likely mean that alongside the AI updates, we will see the AI ships traveling around the system transporting these goods. I don't think this is anything to do with the quantum feature from TZ, but it could be kind of a prerequisite to, to implement that feature of Tony Zurovex so that they can have ships flying around. Kind of a simple system which enables the AI ships to travel around with cargo. Won't likely be able to steal the cargo without destroying the ships, but it's a good starting point. I will talk further actually about cargo updates coming soon in a separate video, because this year I'm seeing a lot of clues fitting together in terms of what updates we're going to get, so do keep an eye out for that and hit that subscribe button. The visual effects and tools team completed a backend tool which will help artists and programmers to track all the different effects that they have been creating, basically separating these effects easily without having to enter console commands and showcase how each element works together. It's a simple tool, but they say it will drastically speed up the testing and implementation. Work continues on the Cutlass Blue. They're just trying to find the right shade of blue for its exterior. Work also continues on the interior spaces, including the components and prison pods. They said there will be a segment on the prison pods coming soon. The Prowler is in the flight prep stage. There will be a guided tour of the complete interior and exterior later this month. We did get to see the dropship section, but that's all for the time being. Now, there's some new tech for ensuring that the planetary locations change their light settings from day to night. So as nighttime comes over, the lights turn on. As daytime comes in, the lights go off. Very simple, but it does make sense. And furthermore, it is a system that is tied to the rotation of planets and moons, which is something that they, will make the verse so much more immersive. Now, we got to see some of the clothing concepts for New Babbage. A lot of them have some animated tech on them as well, which do look kind of interesting. And then we saw a short look at Wallis Bar, which is in the New Babbage landing zone. It does look incredible. There are plants everywhere. You'll be able to go and order cocktails. We even saw DJ Steve stood up in his booth, but it has cool domed ceilings. As we know, New Babbage is made up of domes, which allows you to see Port Tressler above, which is incredible. Also, there is kind of a weird, what looks like a necromorph marker from Dead Space, so we'll see what that is all about. But next week, Inside Star Citizen will give us a full guided tour of New Babbage, so I'm sure we'll hear more about that anyway. Right, that is Inside Star Citizen. Let's move on. So, on Star Citizen Live this week, it was with Todd Pappy doing a Q&A for all things 3.9. The first question being, since server-side OCS got implemented, we are seeing a lot of desync issues. What is causing it and what is the fix? So they said it's not server-side OCS that is actually causing this problem. It is a physics proxy refactor that's the issue. There are some fixes coming in with 3.9 for it, and they will try and work out any issues causing latency as much as possible as well. It is big focus of theirs to get it working, and if they see anything else that's going on, once 3.9 is released, obviously they will try and fix it as they go. Which is great news. I honestly didn't know what it was that was causing it. I assumed it was socks. The fact that it isn't, and they have got fixes coming in for 3.9, means that whatever the issues are at the moment, hopefully are cleared up when it does drop. Next question, will in-ship spawning make it into 3.9? And they say no, but they are working on this. So hopefully sometime this year, I reckon. And the next question is to do with the ship duplication bug. Has anything been addressed with this? And they say yes, they are aware of it. They are trying to fix it. It will require just a hot fix, so it shouldn't be too hard if it is still happening. They said they have fixed it, but if it's still happening, get on the issue council. It won't require too much work to get it fixed. Next question is, are there any major improvements to socks? And they say not player facing, so nothing that we will really notice, but a lot of work has gone into how they edit and work on things, just increasing the workflow for designers to speed up the dev time. So on the back end, yes, but on our end, no. Next question, will player-to-player cash transfers be in 3.9? Now, no, not in 3.9. They need to refactor the mobiGlas using this building blocks, which allows them to then scale the options for the mobiGlas. UI is a high priority on the list as it stands today, and it's going to be in this kind of order. So they're starting with the ship HUD, so elements of this will come with each patch. Then the player HUD, so far I think the bottom left, which is your actor status, is first. Then it's going to be the mini-map, then the weapon selection, then the mission notifications, and then tutorials. From there, it's the mobiGlas coming next, so the home screen first, then all of the apps. Squadron 42 has a lot of need in this as well, so they'll get done first. Then the PU and the current apps that we have now being cleaned up, and then it'll be new apps like the transferring of money. So it does sound like it's kind of a bit of a way off, but they have to start somewhere. Talking about HUDs for 3.9, the center screen of ships has been converted to building blocks. Also, certain kiosks around landing zones have as well. The group system is the FPS visor bottom left is also using the new building blocks. They tend to break up the HUD into sections and convert them in pieces rather than trying to do it all in one go, which is fair enough. And as they say, with each patch, we will get updates to each section. So starting with the center of the ship's HUD, then it'll be the MFDs, either top, right, bottom, and the same goes for the player HUD. So that's their list of order. Anyway, next question is to do with physicalized inventory. Will we be getting this in 3.9? And they say no, they are waiting on the iCache. But as you will hear in my monthly report video coming up next week, they are actually almost finished with the iCache. Next question, will pirates be able to sell cargo from stolen ships in 3.9? Now, stolen ships, no, but blown up ships, yes. And we saw on ICS recently that when you explode a ship, they're physicalizing cargo. So you can go and collect all that cargo and then sell it. Next question is there more grouping and friends work planned? And they say, yes, there is plenty more planned. So right now, we've got this new friends update, which is coming in for 3.9. And they say that this is what they would class as a minimal viable product, so tier 0 or tier 1 for this. From there, they have some UI and backend stuff on the spectrum to clean up, but it's a very good starting point, and it does sound like it's something that'll work in-game and out of game as well. So if you're on Spectrum at work, you can group up with someone playing in-game and just sort of see what they're talking about. And also, if you add a friend on one of the lists, it'll immediately add it to the other. So it's a lot more straightforward, really. But there's cleaning up a lot of issues, and it's going to be a big improvement, they say. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this actually works. Someone asked if we'll see an increased player count in 3.9, and they say no, the server frame rate is not running as it should yet, but they have some code coming to help evaluate where the issues are, and then from there they will work out how to fix it. So once server frame rates increased, then they will begin to add more players. Someone asked if we'll be able to buy food at the various food courts and drinks at the bar in 3.9, and they say yes, the bartender is actually being implemented right now. You won't be able to buy food from vending machines, that'll come a little later, but stalls, food courts, those sort of places, you can. Now for 3.9, we won't be able to store food in the kitchen areas, but if you buy a lot of food and then actually put them in the kitchen area yourself, they should technically persist. So technically you could do it that way, but it's not going to be able to fill up your pantries and access food that way. Is there still a team working on the quality of life bug fixes, someone asked, and they say it's company-wide, it's not a small team. They all work towards fixes and issues that they see, prioritizing them as need be. Next question, when we eat or drink, will you actually remove your helmet? And are we getting the remove helmet button in 3.9? Now he says he's unsure whether you'll need to remove your helmet to eat in 3.9. I have heard that you will need to, but that could have changed. Also, they say that when it comes to removing the helmet and putting it under your arm with just a key or this radial menu, they say they have it working on some helmets, but not all of them. So they're going to hold off until they have all the helmets done, which is a bit of a shame. I was hoping that this new radial menu will allow us to literally take our helmet off, put it under our arm, and then put it back on again when we want. Shame that we can't do that and we still have to go through the Mobi-Glass, but hopefully we're not waiting too long until all the helmets are sorted. Next question, what is volatile or perishable cargo? So right now it's going to be for mining, so your cargo that you have mined could explode if you get into a bit of trouble. So, you know, if you shake it around too much or if you go to a place where it's too hot maybe by the sounds of things. It's not going to be for hand cargo yet on haulers, as again they'll need the iCache to do this. But for 3.9 we will have a button which will blink if it becomes too hot or jostled around, and then it'll blow up and you'll need to jettison it before it blows up. They do want there to be lots of different types of cargo which present different challenges. So this will come down to risk reward. Transporting or mining of volatile cargoes will probably have a lot more payout than your average cargo, which is understandable. A lot of people are concerned as to why they're bringing in another option for your cargo to destroy your ship. But early days, it might not make too much sense, but eventually it will. And if the payouts are good, then I'm sure people will try. Next question is to do with PvP bounty hunting. What is going to be different in 3.9? Now, Todd is obviously not in Todd's area because he doesn't know what the differences are. They did say they'll try and find out what the differences are going to be, but I don't. To date, we haven't had an answer. But there are two cards, one for PvP and one for PvE. The PvE means that the AI can actually quantum travel away to try and escape you and evade you. Whereas they did say there's going to be more additions for bounty hunting, for PvP bounty hunting, that make it easier to track your targets. So we'll see what they are, but Todd doesn't know right now. Next question, will temperature change from day to night on planets, and will the temperature change if a door on your ship is open? So right now they are working on a time of day change, but that's not going to be in 3.9. And on the ship door opening side of things, it will change. Basically, the part of the room system is that if you open a door, it'll vent the atmosphere, at which point they will change the temperature. It's being worked on, is this, but again, not for 3.9. Next question, will it be possible to repair, rearm or restock ships that are currently stored? Now, they say it will still be pad based. Eventually they want to get to the point that when you land, you can then go and ask a technician to repair your ship at whatever landing zone you're at. But as of right now, they are aware of the issues that pads do not repair too well, and they will try and get that fixed. So next question is, player interaction improvements, are they significant or are they just minor updates? Now, they say that they are very significant. Players can select their weapons and hotkeys associated with them rather than using the PMA or the personal manager app on the Mobiglass. Todd said it's pretty much a game changer because you spend so much time on the PMA and sorting that stuff out, so it's going to be a lot more intuitive. There will be a segment on Inside Star Citizen, and it's actually to do with the weapon attachment, so doing it on the fly rather than going into the Mobiglass. We will talk about that in the next couple of questions. And the next question now is consuming food and water. Will it take time or is it going to be instant? Now, this depends on the animation associated, but right now eating a burger is going to be done in 1 bite. Eventually it may make more sense to have maybe 3 to 4 bites, but they don't want it to be too realistic where you sit down for 10 minutes and eat a full meal, because it's kind of ridiculous to do that in a game. So it will be slightly sped up, but it'll be animated nonetheless. The food and drink does have an absorption over time rate, so this determines how long it will take for the items to go through your system, at which point the buff will stop. Anyway, next question. Will there be radiation hazards as part of the actor status system? And they say yes, but not in 3.9. The player status system version 1 is temperature, food and drink, and how that affects your character. We did see a long while ago on the roadmap version 2, which is things like illnesses and drugs and so forth, and I think radiation was to be a part of that, but they will want radiation. They will want how fire and smoke affects your character. Everything will eventually affect your character in some way that you'll need to pay attention to it. So the next question, which is about the weapon attachments. What they're doing for 3.9 is the ability to bring the weapon up in front of your face using the inspect option, and then add or remove attachments like scopes, barrels, attachments like silencers and so forth. Basically showing the weapon off in a tactile experience, which is coming in 3.9, and this is great news as it was slated for much later on the roadmap, and it just got removed. So here's an example of something that instead of focusing on what's getting pushed all the time, we can focus on something that's been brought forward and appreciate it. So I have actually been trying to work on a video looking at all the weapons individually. I will have to re-record them once 3.9 comes out and we can physically change items on the fly, which is going to be amazing. Next question, will there be showers and toilets in 3.9? Because obviously we're eating, will it need to come out? They say there will be eventually, but not 3.9. Someone said, trading is difficult, please give it some love. And they say they will evaluate it and speak to the right people to try and bring those fixes in, which is great news. And then the final question is, why is prison gameplay prioritized over other mechanics? And they say it's to make piracy a little more involved. The rewards for good and bad missions are too similar, so they want to add more of a separation, which then leads into other careers like bounty hunting, saboteur, smuggling, that sort of thing. Basically a way to start enforcing right and wrong in the system, which you've got to start somewhere. Anyway, that is Star Citizen Live. Some good information to be had there, but still quite sketchy on what's happening and what's coming. But I do feel like there's going to be a lot of things coming in 3.9 that we may not see on the roadmap, but is still quite significant. Anyway, let's move on. So also this week, there was a new portfolio post talking about Crusader Industries, plus both the Persistent Universe and Squadron 42 monthly reports were released. But do not fear, I will be covering each of these in separate videos, letting you know all the juicy details, so keep an eye out for those coming sometime next week. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and share the video with all your friends. If you like what I do and want to help me make it better, follow the link below to my Patreon page to learn more.